Joe Rogan and Jimmy Carr have completely lost touch with reality.
To Amsterdam earlier in the year with a friend to see Richard Dawkins give a talk, and it was he's just fascinating.
Yeah.
And you go, well, that
His forehead is brighter than my future.
idea of going, we are, it's the selfish gene. It's the idea that we are. It's the DNA is the thing.
But Richard Dawkins is never killed on stage. He's never done a theater in the round.
Is that his laugh? Is that his actual laugh?
Killed on stage. He's never done a theater in the round or an arena in the round and crushed. He doesn't know the connection between human beings that comes through laughter.
And I don't even know who the fuck Jimmy Carr is. Who's Jimmy Carr, dude? I don't watch comedy's top 250 assassins. Jimmy Carr laugh. Shit, what the fuck?
Joy in that way.
Welcome back to the art and science of stand-up comedy with two of your favorite killers, Joe Rogan and Jimmy Carr. When it comes to stand-up...
You know how I know that he's not funny? Because Chad is telling me, yeah, honestly, he's kind of funny.
Comedians going toe-to-toe with Rogan on his podcast, very few come close to the levels of toxic douchebaggery than Jimmy Carr. I've never seen a comic who's famous for rolling one-liners be so philosophical about the art of telling dick jokes. Imagine Mark Normand or Joey Diaz breaking down their acts as if they had invented a new language that very few people were capable of comprehending. Even Richard Dawkins, one of the most famous evolutionary biologists in history, failed to impress Rogan with his theories on DNA because, wait for it, he's never crushed a set on stage. How can a mere civilian with a 65-year career in the hard sciences possibly understand human biology if he's never murdered an audience with a microphone? Ironically, this episode was littered with cringy...
I don't give a fuck his roasts are good. Listen, all I'm saying is, if I were a king, which I am, and I was tasked with finding the best court jester to make me chuckle, belly laugh, and exhale forcefully throughout my nostrils, I'm not picking a guy whose forehead is going to blind me and who laughs like a fucking mourning dove.
One-liners that are honestly funnier than anything I've ever heard either of these guys say on stage. Forget the Dunning-Kruger effect, these guys give a whole new meaning to the phrase delusions of grandeur. But this all started the last time Jimmy appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience back in 2023, where they gave us a masterclass in the fine art of telling jokes.
Look around. If you're making a living as a stand-up comic, congratulations, you made it. Mm-hmm. It's all incredible. The idea that we're literally living off our wits.
Yeah.
He's not schizo enough. I need an unhinged lunatic. Maybe I'm fried. But the whole, I'm a stand-up comedian with my structured jokes and one-liners, it doesn't work on me. Say something fucked up and I'll laugh.
Yes. And how few of us there are.
I mean, there's no one doing this. That's why I think it's like virgin territory.
Oh my God, the power went out.
This is fun.
We'll just do this.
Take 5.
What do you think it is?
Huh?
You think it's circuit breakers?
I think it's the deep state.
Oh, they're back. We're back. Yeah.
I think the deep state are onto
you guys
us.
Talking too much shit.
The cringe was so bad, even the power gave out. If we ever needed a reminder that Rogan and Jimmy are members of an elite group of comic assassins, they're here to give it to us, reminding us that they're the last line of defense against the tyranny of offended Karens by acting like offended Karens. These are the new breed of comedian who are constantly being cancelled and revived, all in the name of freedom of speech. It's such a privilege to be able to listen to the thoughts of Jimmy Carr, a regular on...
Dude, the soy blockers really bring out the sheen, but holy shit. Somebody's got to get this guy some soap. Maybe Cheeky? Use code Philion, use cheeky.com/Philion, 10% off.
Major network television in the UK, appearing on the biggest podcast in the world. But since his first appearance back in 2023, Jimmy's done the full Austin comedy sacrifice. Not only did he appear on Kill Tony this week, which will come out in a couple of weeks here on YouTube, he's also adopted Rogan's rigorous morning routine.
I'm rehydrating, well, I think I got it from this show.
You know comedians are funny based on how much they optimize their life. There is a direct correlation between biohacking and how funny you are. Bert Kreischer speaks of this.
Oh, the sauna
Why, he's the machine!
cold plunge thing.
I bet you did.
I'm so into it.
That's awesome.
So addicted to it. I got like the.
changes your life.
It really does. It's like
yeah.
it's that.
You know what I would do? I would glaze the shit out of Rogan. Dude, every morning, 4 a.m. I wake up to Jocko Willink, screaming gargle piss in my ear, and then I go hit the kettlebells, do a full circuit. Then I watch John Jones highlights for the next 3 hours in my infrared sauna. Really? You do all that? You feel great? No. I was fucking lying.
Dopamine for like.
You're changing my life by crushing this liquid IV in the most bizarre way possible.
I don't know. It's like somehow it's all smushed up. In
Yeah,
there.
it's humidity.
Yeah, I'm now staying in not
And
exclusive,
then I rubbed one out in the ice bath.
but like I'm my hotel choice. I'm solving for places with sauna cold plunge, so I can kind of do that in the morning and
Guy doesn't have funny aura. I don't get it. You need to have, like, he looks like one of Harry Potter's professors.
feel alive.
Joe Rogan has turned Jimmy Carr into a
He's way too sartorial. There's a word for you. Sartorial. Relating to tailoring clothes or style of dress.
real-life assassin who does a bit of comedy on the side. Why else would he be rehydrating while wearing a three-piece suit in a podcast studio? He's clearly just killed someone.
I travel everywhere.
Yeah.
So I was in like Vienna, and they've got this incredible facility. And I went, and it's like, it's an amazing sauna, amazing cold plunge. So I get in there. I'm having
He's
a great-
good, just watch his clips. I'm never watching his clips. Yo, trust me, bro. He's funny, bro. He's funny, bro. All right. I'll give him one clip. One clip to make me haha or hee hee. Jimmy Carr, funniest moments.
You laugh like an asthmatic sea of fucking a donkey.
I laugh like an asthmatic seal fucking a donkey. How do you know? Great time. A guy walks in, and I get told off for wearing shorts. Because I got swim shorts on, and it's Austria, and they like to sauna.
Have I seen the latest special from Joseph? Not a single laugh that day. Yeah, I think I threw it on at like 3 a.m. post goon sesh. Cause I needed something to knock me out for the rest of my night.
Naked.
Now that's comedy. Now that's comedy, dude.
They want to check it out. I'll tell you where the problem comes.
What?
Post cold plunge.
Yeah.
That is some baby dick.
You know where the real problem comes.
Dude, my dick gets bigger when I go in a cold plunge.
Aggressive gay men.
In saunas?
Yeah. I've had a guy do it to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a guy look me in the eye and take his robe and like open up his.
As fun fact for you, there's a Equinox in Manhattan. It might be the Hudson Yards one. It's like the gayest gym in the world. And I'm pretty sure they had to like shut down the saunas because of all the gay butt sex happening. All the guys getting sucked off in the steam room.
His towel while he's staring at me.
Is there more to this story? Where does this...
No.
That feels like...
No.
Okay. Is the guy okay, Joe?
Yeah, I didn't hurt him. I don't think I even said anything to him.
Yeah, I jerked them off actually. So what am I gonna cower away in fear? No, I'm gonna assert my dominance.
I just went like this. And then just didn't look at him. And then within 3 minutes, he put his towel back on and walked out and left. Like, so he was fishing.
And that's how I
Threw
met...
a line out there. Psst, that's how I met your mother.
And that is how I met Tony Hinchcliffe. That's the origination story. I mean,
Wasn't even a good-looking guy.
You're not in that business.
I'm not in that business,
You're not in
that's
that
right.
business. You don't know.
I don't know, right?
I know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
there's a lot of bears out there. A lot of guys are into the big guys. You know, they're into big, fat, hairy guys. That's a thing.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
This
what
guy
that-
wasn't even that. He wasn't even a bear.
Dude, how are you gay? How?
You sound... You're disappointed that the
Have you seen a woman? They make me go feral.
guy that hit on you wasn't attractive
I've
enough.
only had a few times in my life where men have aggressively hit on.
That the guy that hit on you wasn't attractive
I've
enough.
only had a few times in my life where men.
You're disappointed that
I
the
was
guy that hit on
disappointed.
you wasn't attractive
I've
enough.
only had a few times in my life where men.
Did I get assassinated by his comedy special? Dude, I saw a red dot laser coming through my window. I almost got assassinated. I almost got taken out by fucking Tim Dillon,
have aggressively hit on me, and both of them have been disappointed.
Joe Rogan's top guy.
In saunas, in where
No,
were you?
one in a bar, and one in the sauna.
There is definitely more to that story than Joe is letting on. You can always tell when he's lying because he looks up at the ceiling while he's talking. It wasn't so long ago that Rogan said on his podcast that he wishes he could be a woman to experience what it's like to be with a man.
That's called autogynephilia. Joe Rogan trans confirmed.
Yep, true story. He just used slightly more graphic wording. But listening to a comedian wearing a three-piece suit telling us how he only books hotels with saunas and cold plunges is like listening to Tom Segura complain about having to start work before 10 a.m. Also a true story. However, Jimmy Carr takes things to a whole new level, you see. Not only is he an expert in stand-up comedy, he's also an expert in laughter.
You know, language predates speech by... a million years, millions.
He likes girls with armpit hair, like Mike Israetel type beat, girl with monstrous traps. Hey!
Years. Laughter predates speech by about a million years.
On the cope cringe continuum, Jimmy Carr is coping about his fucking whack-ass laugh.
They think.
Interesting. Because
the idea
animals
that-
laugh, chimps laugh.
You know, I've got a weird laugh, right? I laugh on an in. I've like.
You have to?
Yeah. If something really strikes me as funny, it's like I laugh on an in breath, not an out breath.
Like
But
Tucker Carlson. He's got that kind of laugh.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know where I stand on that. Now I'm in trouble.
He sounds like orca prey, that's right. That's right. He sounds like a seal. That's just cannon fodder for us orcas out there.
Get me cancelled. Well, no, that's an out. That's an
Yeah,
out.
right,
It's
it's
just
an
a
out.
high-pitched
It's
out.
high pitched out.
It's an interesting idea. I mean,
It's also
obviously,
interesting that it's contagious. Genuinely.
yeah.
Like if you're laughing, I'm like, I'll start laughing. Like, what the fuck are you laughing at, Jimmy?
Yeah.
I'll start laughing. If you're laughing
You
hysterically.
ever seen those German guys that do the laughter therapy?
No.
They do a laughter therapy in Germany, and it's literally a guy.
Marin, is this true? Marin, is this true? Can you confirm or deny? Laughter therapy in Germany?
Going, we're all going to laugh now, ha 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 ha, and they just force themselves to laugh. There's nothing funny going on. They just force themselves to laugh.
You need to figure out stand-up in Germany. Have they ever figured it out? Who's the best?
In Germany, I don't.
Who's
I
like the
play
Lenny
a lot
Bruce?
in Germany.
Yeah, but you're an English guy going
Yeah.
to Germany. That's different. I could play in Germany too.
Yeah.
But my point is, who's the best guy to come out of Germany?
There is a guy who's like playing. He played like a stadium there. Oh God, I forget his name. But he came to the Edinburgh Festival. He's pretty good.
I don't know why Rogan's mocking German laughter therapy because it sounds pretty much exactly like one of his stand-up routines. A bunch of people sit in a room together and laugh contagiously for no apparent reason. I mean, of all the people who should understand
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if true. We gotta go. Gotta go boots on the ground.
the science of laughter, it's our boy Rogan. Like I always say, if they're not laughing hard enough, you're not yelling loud enough with bulging eyes. It really is a fine art. You pedestrians just wouldn't understand.
Are you traveling much at the moment? Are you on
No.
the road much? You're not.
No, even when I did
Yeah.
my last special, my Netflix special, I prepared for it entirely at my own club.
Isn't it crazy that Joe Rogan just does comedy as a side quest? Is it because he has so much money that he's able to soy-op himself to like the top of the comedy scene? Is comedy pay to win?
And then I hadn't done any theater.
Failing to see how this episode of Joe Rogan warranted any commentary, Milk Toast episodes begets Milk Toast analysis video. Dude, what are you talking about? This is one of the top YouTube channels on the platform. This is elite level commentary.
At all in like a year and a half. And then I did the first Friday night at the theater. I'm like, oh, it's different. Because instead of doing like 200 people, I was doing thousands. I was like, this is weird. Like the timing's different.
Rogan takes the concept of an echo chamber to a whole new level. I don't think I've ever heard of a comedian as big as Rogan who prepared for their Netflix comedy special at a single comedy club. Like, just think about that for a minute. You're gearing up for a live comedy special recording that's going out to a worldwide audience, and not only do you prepare for it exclusively at one club, it's the very club that you own. How did he possibly think he was going to get genuine feedback from that audience? It's basically a bunch of people who are excited to see a celebrity on stage. They're going to laugh at anything. Don't forget, Rogan could never sell out a show before he did.
Guy is also a black belt in soy jitsu. Dude, he'd make you tap, bro.
Fear Factor. It was after he left his first stint on the show in the early 2000s that he hit the road hard with Joey Diaz, Ari Shaffir, and then Tom Segura, selling out shows,
Absolute comedic weapons. Comedy assassins.
around the country. Rogan will never admit
Dude, imagine how hard they killed on stage, dude. Not one bomb.
that he never would have made it in comedy if it wasn't for the sitcoms he was on in the 90s, then Fear Factor in the 2000s, UFC was growing at the same time as well, and of course, after he started his podcast, the rest is history. Joe doesn't realize that he is the bomb expert. Now that he's got his own comedy club, he never has to leave his safe space ever again.
I think that thing in comedy, like failure is your friend.
Oh yeah.
Failure is you make friends with it and you're kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
It's fun. And then in life, it's like you're able to take chances.
Show the Joe Rogan kick video. I could take that.
Joe Rogan can kick so hard that it sounds like gunshots. Joe Rogan has been fighting in Taekwondo since he...
I mean, that's just a simple leg check.
Knock the guy out fucking cold.
The capoeira version is the same as the Taekwondo version. The difference is like the difference. It's the most powerful kick, I think. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, that's textbook. I could take one of those.
So you stand like this. So it comes in like this, and then as
I'm too tall. This Bob is at 5'3". I mean, he might hit my nipple.
it's coming in, it goes over the top like that. So you think it's this, and you go to block like this, and as you do, it comes over the top.
Shit, that's a beautiful angle.
I remember when I was a white belt.
Chances and kind of mess things up and go, it's all right, give it another go.
Yeah. That's the martial arts thing. We win or we learn. The same with the bombing set. Like if I look back on my early career,
Dude, I would just catch his foot.
in comedy, some of the big leaps I had.
The famous Bruce Lee quote, boards don't hit back. Let's see that on a moving target.
Was after horrific bombings.
Right.
You have like a year in or so, you have a horrific bombing, and then you go, oh my God. Brian Simpson said something really funny the other night in the green room. He said, the thing about being a comedian is you can't be a shitty boss and a shitty employee.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
I was like, oh, you just nailed it. Like, you got to always listen when that guy is ready to drop a gem. That's a gem. Because as a comic, no one's telling you what to do.
It's interesting.
What percentage of Joe Rogan's podcast is just comedy glaze? Not even like on other comedians, but just like the metaphysical comedy as an entity, just sucking off the art form, if you want to call it that. 90%.
Responsible for yourself.
It's interesting. I did Kill Tony last night with Tony Hinchcliffe, who's at once
They position it as the hardest medium in the world. There's gotta be something harder than stand-up comedy, dude. Listen, does it take skill? Is it funny when someone's funny? Yeah. But I don't know. Dude, working at McDonald's is harder than being a stand-up comedian. Now I'm just rage baiting. You have activated my trap card.
meanest motherfucker in the world, and also the kindest man in comedy.
Yeah.
Because you look at the careers that he's launching. Like every 3-4 weeks, he's launching like a new name, and then they're touring. So you're creating this little thing, this little space, like the mothership's got this little community around it now of people that they want to get better. You built this thing, and it's Field of Dreams. Look how many people are coming, and then I'm very
Dude, zip them up when you're done. Holy shit.
see in 20 years
Yeah.
who comes out of the scene.
Listening to comedians talk about their line of work as if it's any different to every other self-employed person around the world is absolutely fucking hilarious. That Brian Simpson quote about how comedians have to be self-motivating could be applied to almost any industry. The part they leave out is that for guys like Rogan, Jimmy Carr, Tom Segura, and Bert Kreischer, they were all millionaires or sons of millionaires while they were supposedly doing their 10,000 hours of comedy training. For those of you who don't know, Jimmy was an oil executive for Shell before he decided to...
Comedians went through hell.
Pursue a career in comedy. I'm not saying he doesn't
Both these guys are fluent in Japanese.
deserve it. I'm just saying it makes things a little easier when you've got a safety net if things don't work out. But as soon as Rogan brought up that Brian Simpson quote, it reminded me of that time him and Tony Hinchcliffe roasted him on a fight companion with Brendan Schaub.
Split decision.
Oh, y'all don't do live comments?
What? What are you doing with this stuff?
I'm on YouTube.
Let's be with
You don't wanna do
the
that,
people
man.
in the room. Let's not connect with folks outside that
No?
have nothing to do with
What are you
us.
doing?
No.
You're watching us on YouTube
Yeah,
right
what are you
now?
doing?
I'm just keeping up with the zeitgeist.
What?
Yeah, don't do that.
You don't wanna do that.
Don't do that. Not while there's 3 other people in the room and we're also on YouTube. No.
Strange how nobody tells him on the biggest podcast in the world how bad of a comedian he is. Why do you think that is? They're frightened by his aura. I don't know, maybe because he'll literally kill them? Have you seen those kicks, dude? And he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu? Oh, I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of the table. I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of a Shure SM7B, that's all I'm saying. Maybe he just mogs them that hard. He instills fear in their soy world.
I'm just watching you on YouTube right now?
Yeah, bro, this is ridiculous.
You want a mirror or something?
Look, guys, we all making too much of this. Put it to
3.
see who agreed with me.
Oh,
You were
don't-
about to be
don't-
watching
don't-
you,
No, you don't wanna do
watching
that.
you.
Don't ever let them know you're doing that either.
Well, y'all are more famous than me. That doesn't bother me.
It doesn't matter. It's like
I think everyone that goes on Rogan takes it as an opportunity to amplify their own voice, and they want to be invited back on, and they want to be seen as cool rather than a maverick or somebody who's challenging. So what you get is a lot of terminal glaze.
you're dealing with crazy people.
Yeah, you'll,
But what
you'll
would-
stay
but
as
what was
famous
your
as you are.
opinion?
You keep doing that.
Also, you're doing it while you just hang out.
Yeah, it takes you out of the moment. But,
Yeah.
What was your take on it? What I miss?
I was right. You were wrong.
1, 2, and 3.
A split decision, though.
Yeah, I said split.
Yep.
Hold up a second. Why was Brendan laughing at that? You know, when Tony said you'll never be more famous than you are if you keep reading the comments, and then Brendan agreed and cracked up laughing. Bro, that's half the reason why your career took a massive nosedive and you became the most hated man on the internet.
I mean, if you want to see how much of a joke comedy has become, just look at Brendan Schaub. UFC fighter to then just top a Netflix special. What are we talking about here? Did he put in his 10,000 hours? Did he get his degree from Rogan University?
And it's not like this was from an old fight companion, it was from last year. Nobody has suffered more from taking Joe Rogan's advice than Brendan Schaub has, yet he still hasn't realized it. Brendan's the most frequent guest in JRE history, yet he struggles to break 30,000 views on his own podcast. The numbers don't lie, B. But listening to Rogan shit on his audience has always amazed me. The amount of times he's openly called his viewers dumb or crazy or mentally ill and nobody blinks an eye is wild. And when Jimmy Carr brought up heckling, everyone seems to have missed what Rogan said. See, for those of you who aren't familiar with Jimmy's comedy, he's one of those shock and awe comics. He'll try and say the most outrageous thing possible.
Brendan Schaub is the reason shampoo has instructions not to drink.
So he can clip it up and post it on social media to go viral and then complain that people are trying to cancel him for being too offensive. That's why, even though I think he can be
Dude, whenever people talk about comedians being too offensive, I listen to what they have to say and I'm like, that's it. That's what's so offensive. God.
funny, he really is just a clip comedian. You know, like Matt Rife, Theo Von, or Tim Dillon. These guys aren't taking you on a deep and complex journey in their comedy specials like Dave Chappelle, Shane Gillis, or Louis C.K. But he also likes to do a lot of crowd work because, again, it makes for a good clip on social media, which helps to sell out his shows.
Oh, he's a clip farmer. He's like me.
It's performative being in the audience.
Yes.
Like, I always think that thing with hecklers. Like, there's more hecklers in the UK. Like, when you travel around the world, like, so I'm touring everywhere, like all over America, UK, Australia, New Zealand, every territory. And you notice different places have different traditions when it comes to heckling. Like, that's the biggest thing you notice when you travel. Like, in North America, people are very slow.
Did I say clit? Did I say I'm a clit farmer? Or did he say it? Don't soy-op me. Who said it?
To shout out during a show. Because they think am I spoiling the show? Am I ruining this? Sometimes it is like
Some comics just they have a set and they want to just perform their set.
Yeah, I know. I like it when people join.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants someone to talk over their punchline.
That's a problem,
But
though,
you
because
want people to-
But you're going into an agreement with a bunch of drunks, and a lot of them are just, they're not that smart in the first place, and so they don't even understand when to yell out, and so they're yelling out while you're in the middle of something else.
It's self-selecting. You
Well,
know,
it's
your
also-
audience come and
Yeah, everyone's saying it now.
find you, and it's
Such an easy cop out to crowd farm. Yeah, because think about it, you only have so much time on stage, so you might as well just fucking waffle and let the clock run as you like. This is how you do crowd work. You stand there, right? You do you idle. You wait for a heckler. The first step is to repeat what they just said. That is both acknowledgement and it's more time on the clock. Instead of just responding, you have to reinforce what they just said. And then you either have to act confused, hurt by what they said, or go on the offense. Watch. If somebody says, "You look transgender, Philion," this is what I would do. "I look transgender." You're literally gay. 4 million views on TikTok. Boom. I'm giving fucking sold out stadiums. Madison Square Garden, the Mothership, the Paramount. Worldwide tour, baby.
Sure, but sometimes crazy people just show up at your audience.
oh my god!
know.
If I had to
Yeah.
compile, I thought maybe I should compile a video of me kicking people out of shows.
Well, now
It's
they
like
know
so
you do
frequent.
that too, so they probably look forward to doing it with you.
Saying your audience aren't that smart in the first place is crazy to me. Bro, you're famous for humping stools. The way Rogan acts like he's some elite stand-up comic who has the nuance of a poet and the sting of a bee is so fucking cringe I can't even begin to tell you. But calling your audience dumb is a whole new level of delusion. Bert Kreischer does the same thing. You know how he's always going on about knowing if a random will come up to him in public just because of the way that
Bert Kreischer is the best comedian in the world. It goes Bert Kreischer on an off day, then Shane Gillis.
they look and the way they're
I don't make the rules.
dressed. These guys want nothing to do with their audience. They want you to watch their podcast, buy products from their sponsors, pay for tickets to their shows, and shut the fuck up. They don't want to hear from you. They don't care what you think, and they certainly don't care what you say. Meanwhile, Shane Gillis turns up to a local bar for a drink and hangs with his fans just for fun. Bert does it because he's afraid of being forgotten. But just when you thought the delusions couldn't get any worse, Jimmy Carr compared himself to being a boxer.
I was out in Australia on tour last time, and I had like one night off, and Chappelle was in town that night. So I said, well, I'll go up with you. So I went up, and he had it in the round. I don't want to say never, but I may never be a professional boxer. There, I said it. But walking into it's like walking into a ring, because you've got like security around you, and you have to walk through the audience onto the stage and up the steps.
Yeah.
It's so thrilling. And then you
Except you're not going to get punched in the fucking head.
put the screens above, and even in a 10,000 seater, no one's more than,
Right.
2,000 seats back kind of thing. So everyone's got a great seat, and you're kind of rotating, and I love it.
Jimmy's the kind of guy to take a box fit class at an Equinox and then think he's a trained fighter. It's like they're all different variations of the same comedian, completely obsessed with their image and an overinflated sense of accomplishment in what they do. Don't forget, this is the guy that went on
This guy reminds me of a magician. Why does he have Magic Man physiognomy? I feel like he's going to pull a fucking rabbit out of a hat at any given moment here.
the YMH podcast with Tom Segura and Christina last year.
Bro, it's fucking scary looking, dude. Holy shit.
And started talking about his hair implants and dental veneers. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan is his own tortured artist.
And then there's Kill Tony, which is the perfect anchor.
Guy has hair implants. He's still balding. He has a Norwood.
Own tortured artist.
And then there's Kill Tony, which is the perfect anchor.
Hold on. Does he wear makeup? It would make sense for a clown. Oh, this chat is funnier than these fucking people, dude. Holy shit.
Tortured artist.
Imagine caring what you look like as a comedian. You have one job, make me laugh. You know what? It's probably a multiplier if you're ugly.
And then there's Kill Tony, which is the perfect anchor of the entire community. Because with Kill Tony, you get to watch people that do their first time ever on stage, Or maybe they came from Seattle, they've been kind of struggling for 5 years, and they do a 1 minute on stage, and all of a sudden they get a golden ticket. And then you're in this group of people that are like really enthusiastic about this art form that I think is one of the most underappreciated yet very respected and very loved art forms. It's really paradoxical.
There's that great old quote of laughter is the shortest distance between two people. I think there's a real connection to comics because you laugh with your friends and your family, and you laugh with this comedian.
I think comedy's not...
You ever hang out with a guy that like does stand-up, or he's trying to be a comedian, or refers to himself as a comic? It's gotta be the worst hangout session ever. Everything's a bit. You can't just ask a question without like some retarded fucking like 9-step callback 3-minute routine.
Because most people can talk and most people are funny occasionally, so they think I could do it. But most people can't hit a fastball. Most people can't play tennis like a professional. Most people can't do that. So you watch someone do that and you go, I can't even do that. But you see someone on stage talking, like, I could talk. What's so hard about that? I just have to figure out the right words to say, and I could be Jimmy Carr.
Right.
Right? Because everybody can talk. I think that's part of the problem. That's why it doesn't get appreciated the same way music gets appreciated.
If It's Not That Deep was a podcast, this would be it. I think what Rogan's really complaining about is that he himself doesn't get enough appreciation for his stand-up comedy. He definitely knows that people don't find him funny. I mean, on almost every post on Instagram about comedy or clip of his stand-up on YouTube, he gets absolutely roasted in the comments by his followers. How many times have you seen the comment something along the lines of, Joe's a great podcaster, but terrible comedian? It's his style of high-energy, stool-humping, loud comedy that gets no respect because it doesn't require much talent, and most of all, it's just not that funny. But this narrative that Rogan keeps pushing about Kill Tony, how it's the epicenter of the comedy universe, and it's producing all the biggest up-and-coming comics around the world, I've done several...
I just can't do his voice, bro. Kill Tony's voice, what's his name? Tony Hinchcliffe? It sounds like he's whining in my ear like a fucking bee.
How old are you?
27.
27 and your voice is still cracking.
I'm dehydrated from being outside.
Okay. Do you drink water?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Jordan. I drink water, everybody. Jordan, what do you do for work?
I work in software and I'm a professional boxer.
You're a professional boxer? How many of you want to see Jordan shadow box? Here he is, everybody. Wow, look at that. You better not start any shit with me.
Deep dives on Kill Tony and Tony Hinchcliffe over on my Patreon, and those of you who have followed...
Is Tony Hinchcliffe gay? Can we get that out of the way? Not that it matters. I just, for the lore, I need to know.
My commentary will have...
Dude, I just got assassinated.
...seen multiple
Well, then why does he sound gay?
...clips of Hinchcliffe explaining how this all started. It was never about showcasing open mic talent. The whole point of the show was to broadcast open mic as bombing for entertainment. Remember that documentary he made about himself when they were touring Kill Tony in Canada a while back? That's where Tony explained that he realized there was entertainment value in seeing comics bombing on stage.
He's just soy. Many such cases. Maybe that's why Trump hates him. He can sniff the soy from miles away.
He said that him and his buddies would always crack up laughing at all the shitty open micers they'd see, and so he thought it would be a good idea to turn it into a show. I'm not saying I don't like it. I love Kill Tony for exactly that reason.
I think he was too gay and then just went full circle and is now straight. That would make sense. Any person not married at his age is gay. Dude, where's your wife and kids, bro? How old is he? He's 40. He's literally 40.
Reason. But let's not pretend that it's some...
Shane Gillis is 37? Yo, I'm just a young stallion, I guess, then. What the hell? Are you kidding me?
Hunting ground for talent.
Level 27 never felt so good, baby.
And it's the breeding ground for the
Yo,
next...
I'm just getting started.
generation of top 250 comedy assassins. It's a platform for Tony...
He prestiged back this rate.
Hinchcliffe to profit off of open micers bombing. Anyway, I need a drink. Thank God it's Friday. While you're here, though, remember...
Oh...